We're still months away from November's presidential election, but both Republican and Democratic candidates have already made several stops in Wisconsin this year. CBS 58's Emilee Fannon, WisPolitics editor J.R. Ross discussed the campaign strategies as Donald Trump is set to speak in Waukesha next week.
Former President Donald Trump will be taking a break from the courtroom to hold a rally in the battleground state next week. And we're talking about the significance of this, JR, because it's going to be his first large campaign event since his trial in New York began over hush money payments during the 2016 cycle. And he's coming to an area, Waukesha, on Wednesday, and it's going to be an area that he's been trying to hone in on, I should say Republicans in general, to target those suburban moms.
When I asked insiders initially, like, okay, why Waukesha? Initial reaction was, oh, it's because they want to stem the bleeding. Go back to 2016, Ron Johnson, Republican U.S. Senator, won 68% of the vote in Waukesha County as he won re-election statewide. Fast forward to 2022, it was more around 62.5%. Like, that's the erosion Republicans have faced. Like, okay, Waukesha makes sense for that reason. Others will say, no, it's not just that, it's the Milwaukee market in general, and also a couple other things. One, it's easy to get in and out of. Remember, Trump is going to Waukesha first in Michigan. He wants to get in and out, hit two spots, two swing states. Two, he's been in a courtroom cooped up for a couple of weeks. I've had a couple Republicans tell me he wants a big crowd. This allows people from Illinois, Minnesota, it's an easy spot to get to come in and root for him. But the Milwaukee market is going to see a lot of visits for a couple of reasons. One, yes, Donald Trump has to hit certain numbers in Green Bay and Wausau. Joe Biden hit certain numbers in Dane County. But Milwaukee is the biggest media market. It's got the most number of people. They both have interest to be there a lot to drive up the numbers of their core constituencies in that market.
Right, and of course this comes after a string of visits from the Biden administration. It was just on Monday that we had a visit from Vice President Kamala Harris, who was in western Wisconsin. She held kind of two stops in the La Crosse area. One talking about what she called ongoing attacks against the former president when it comes to abortion restrictions across the United States. But she also touted a new policy, a new federal policy that I should say, that will apply to nursing homes, that will require them to meet minimum staffing requirements. So what that generally means is you got to hire more people. They also will have to have a registered nurse on staff 24/7. And I talked to some nursing home advocates who are pretty frustrated with this new rule because they're concerned that this could possibly lead to closures here in Wisconsin because it's already, what they say, is putting a strain on an industry that's already seen a lot of staffing shortages from the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, absolutely. Look, that's one of the vulnerabilities for Donald Trump is abortion. Democrats hit that time and time again. The Marquette poll last week we saw top three issues: the economy, immigration, abortion. Democrats not doing really great in the first two. The third one is one of the ones to motivate the base and go after Donald Trump.
And looking ahead to next week, we're going to focus on a legislative race in the 24th Assembly District because it's got a little bit more interesting this past week, JR. And that is an area that represents Germantown and Menominee Falls because a lawmaker who was in a little bit of a hot water came out on top of it. And we're talking about Representative Janelle Brandtjen.
Yeah, so on the one hand, Brandtjen's not going to have a felony charge hanging over her head when she runs. Go back, the Ethics Commission back in February had recommended a felony charge against Brandtjen for allegedly participating in a scheme to evade campaign finance limits or donations to a candidate who challenged Robin Vos, Assembly Speaker, in a race in 2022. The Waukesha County DA said, look, basically she doesn't have evidence in court to prove the charges. I'm not going to charge her. Okay, so that's off the table. The problem, though, for Brandtjen is she's faced Dan Knodel before. Dan Knodel, not now a state senator, formerly a member of the Assembly, ran a special election in 2023 for the Senate seat. He was joining their district, Dewey Strobel, up in Saukville, said, okay, I'm not going to run there. We go back to the Assembly for stay in office. Well, they ran against each other in that special election, Brandtjen, Knodel, and a third candidate for that special, for the GOP nomination. Looking at that race, if you took those results and put them on the new map, well, Knodel beat her almost 2-1. Okay, so that's an issue for Brandtjen. Number two, the question from insiders is, where will she get her money? She's not a big ally of Robin Vos. I mean, if you challenge the king, essentially, go after the king and don't win, you're going to be in trouble. So Robin Vos has an incentive to help Dan Knodel, or his friends do, help Dan Knodel. Okay, where's Brandtjen get money from? Will Trump endorse her? He's been a big fan before. Will that crowd, that wing of the Republican Party, help her in some way? The establishment groups, the ones who are loyal to Robin Vos, they have a incentive to help Dan Knodel because looking ahead to 2025, Republicans are coming back with a small majority in the Assembly. The question is, how much smaller will it be? at 54, 55 seats, if they have 4 or 5 members who aren't part of the quote-unquote team that Robin Vos wants to run, that becomes a challenge. It then becomes like the House in Washington, D.C., where a narrow majority is ungovernable. So Robin Vos and his friends have an incentive to maybe help Dan Knodel get through. So for Branchin, you don't have to worry about felony charge. You got to worry about money and worry about past performance, which makes maybe an uphill climb for that seat this August.
It's definitely going to be a fascinating race to watch. All right, that will do it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us.